What is up? My name is Carter, and welcome back to Up Close and Personal. Today, I want to kind of continue on of what I talked about last episode, which was my experience at a local Methodist church. Just kind of update the situation there. I ended up meeting with the pastor, and him and we spent about 2 hours together, and we spoke, and I just shared my story with him and where I was coming from, and he shared what he felt with me, and we had a really beneficial conversation that I don't think would have happened if we didn't have that instance that brought us together. He was very apologetic, very remorseful, and I truly believed that he was genuinely sorry. That meant a lot to me, for him to take the time to sit down with me and to hear me out. That's not something that I expect, going to church as a transgender man. But he gave me grace. He showed me grace, and I showed him grace as well. So I'm very happy with the way that went, and I am very happy that we could see eye to eye and meet each other in the middle. And, we're not as different as we think we are. That was really nice to do. I feel a lot better about that, genuinely. The next topic that I wanted to discuss today is my top surgery story. As most of you know, I have just gotten cleared from my top surgery procedure that I had back in November. I had surgery on November 26th, and I just want to share how that looked from pretty much the start to the end of it, because it is complicated. It's a tough route to walk into if that's something that you want to do, and it's kind of hard to know where to start. I had a lot of questions prior to starting. I just wanted to share my experience with you all, maybe give a little insight on the process as a whole. I went through Dr. Jacqueline Wegge. She's based in Houston, Texas. I met with a few surgeons online before I decided on Dr. Wegge. I also met Dr. Wegge in person. She was the only surgeon that I saw in person. But I met with a doctor out of California. He is one of the world-renowned surgeons. And then I also met with another surgeon that was in Houston. I just didn't jive with him. No offense to him or anything. I won't say his name. I didn't jive with him. It's not my style. I met with Dr. Wegge, and I immediately knew that I wanted her to do my surgery and to be the one to take this next step with me. From the get-go, my insurance that I have through my job, luckily, they covered it. Not all of it, but they covered a good chunk of it. But one of the prerequisites was that I needed letters of recommendation that I needed to have the surgery, essentially. So I started to go to therapy. I see my therapist about once a month, but I have been seeing him for a while now. I genuinely feel as though that therapy is a good thing if you are struggling with your gender, or if you're just struggling with pretty much anything. I was seeing him, and he went through the W-PATH standards of diagnosing me with gender dysphoria, which is the requisite that you have to be approved for surgery. So I got diagnosed with gender dysphoria. What is gender dysphoria? Gender dysphoria, to me, this is not going to be a textbook definition by any means, but gender dysphoria to me is I have felt so out of place in my own body for my entire life. Having a chest is the exact opposite of what I wanted, and it made me extremely uncomfortable every single day, and it only continued to get worse. It changed the way that I dressed, it changed the way that I acted, it changed my posture. I mean, I'm just kind of ducking all the time, trying to hide my chest. Just extreme discomfort of anything to do with your body that is not the way that you perceive it to be. So I got diagnosed with gender dysphoria. And then I also used a letter that I got from my hormone provider, which I use the company Plume. Plume is an online service that you can use that prescribes my hormones, and I do my doctor's visits with them virtually. And then they also handle all of my blood work that I have done. So I get my blood work done about once every 3 months, just to check my testosterone levels, to make sure everything's okay, make sure I'm healthy, make sure everything looks right. I have really enjoyed them. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, or affiliated with them by any means. I pay for the service with my own money, but I genuinely really enjoy having that option. At the time, I had a primary care provider in Nacogdoches, where we used to live, and I just do not feel comfortable going to my PCP to get my hormones. So having Plume as an option was very, very beneficial to me. I have thoroughly enjoyed them. I have zero complaints with them whatsoever. They handle any issues that I have with the pharmacy. They handle all my blood work, like I said. And my doctor is Dr. Hadishit, and I love her so much. She's amazing. I had a letter from Plume, from my doctor, another form of recommendation for me to have the surgery. So I submitted those documents to Dr. Weggy once I had my consultation with her. I also gave them my insurance. They went through and handled everything on my insurance's side. I could have booked my surgery sooner with Dr. Weggy, but I wanted to wait until my wife was on some sort of a break, so that way I would have somebody with me just in case I needed help, which I did. I had my consultation, I believe it was in June of 2024, and I ended up having surgery in November 26th, 2024. Prior to my surgery, Dr. Weggy was amazing with just communicating. Her team was great with communicating with me. Any questions that I had, they answered. I felt very safe, very comfortable throughout the entire process with everybody that is associated with her office. I had an ultrasound done. She recommends that her patients get ultrasounds done prior. That was the only thing that I was like, I don't know about that, but I did it. I went to a hospital here locally. They called in my lab for me, and I went and had an ultrasound done on both of my breasts just to make sure I didn't have any lumps or cancer or any kind of anything that was odd. Dr. Wade wanted to know about that prior to doing the surgery. My ultrasound came back perfectly fine. I was totally clear. Thankful for that. And then I also had some blood work done prior to surgery. That was about a week before surgery was the blood work. And that was fine. I went to the hospital and everybody there was super kind to me. I had zero issues with my name or my pronouns. Surgery day came. I got there, checked in. I had surgery. I was back there for, I believe it was about 2.5 hours. Before surgery, Dr. Weggy came in and marked on me where she wanted the placement of things to be at. She was very clear with me with the instructions. I got instructions from her and from the hospital themselves. Recovery began. The first day was the worst. When I woke up from surgery, I was in a lot of pain. So they were trying to get that under control for me, and they gave me a lot of different kinds of medicine. Anesthesia does make me sick. I figured that out. So I was very nauseous, and I just did not feel very good. That was my only complaint about the whole thing, was just I was extremely nauseous. But that only lasted for the first day. The next day I woke up, I was perfectly fine. Slept on my back for a long time, probably about at least 6 weeks on my back with a wedge pillow and pillows around me, pillows underneath my knees, just trying to keep me still so that I didn't mess anything up. I wore the binder, the vest, the compression vest for about 7 weeks. Dr. Weggy just cleared me from wearing that vest on Thursday when I saw her. I no longer have to wear the vest, so I'm completely free. I'm very happy with my results. The placement of everything is great. My scars look good. I have just really sensitive skin, so my scars are red right now, but I'm not worried about them at all. I am going to begin scar care, silicone gel and whatnot, and then I'm also just using moisturizer to keep them nice and moist to make sure they're not getting stretched out. But I have began running and I have began doing normal activity again, and that's been very nice. Overall, I could not recommend Dr. Weggy more. She was incredible. She was extremely kind, extremely patient, very thorough, and also concise too, which I appreciated. Everybody associated with her office was fantastic. I have nothing but good things to say about them. I will go back for I believe it'll be my final follow-up, and that'll be in 3 months. I have an appointment with her in April, and she just wants to check everything else out and make sure it looks good and healed and whatnot. And I did also appreciate Dr. Weggy saw me consistently after surgery. I had an appointment with her about every 2 weeks. She was very involved and checking on what was going on and making sure everything looked good. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed Dr. Weggy. That surgery is 100% life-changing for me. It has made my confidence so much better. It has made my quality of life better. I feel so much more comfortable in my body. I feel so normal and so natural. Like, I can't even believe that I haven't had this surgery my entire life. It just feels so right and so natural. It truly does. Gender affirming care truly does it saves lives, and it's a powerful, powerful thing. And if it's something that you're very sure of, like I've been very sure of this for a long time, do it. If that's what you want to do, you should do that. It shouldn't be the first step by any means, but it should be a step that if you feel comfortable taking in your gender identity, you should take it and seek support where you can with the people around you. My wife was extremely, extremely important in the recovery aspect of my after surgery. I couldn't shower by myself. I couldn't put my clothes on. She had to help me put my vest on and my dressings that I had for it. She was just instrumental in that. She made food for me. She took care of me. She made sure I was comfortable, took care of everything while I was down. I am extremely appreciative for her and being there for me and supporting me through that. We are stronger than ever now, I believe, truly. If you have any questions about any of that, just let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I did my experiences with Dr. Weggie, but I can help you kind of navigate that process if you need. I'll see you guys next week. We'll talk about some more interesting stuff. I appreciate you for listening. I appreciate you for supporting me in this and listening to what I have to say. It means a lot to me. I'll see you guys in the next one.